Hello, everybody. It's Martha
Morning. Hi.
and Alex.
Yep.
We're here. Today, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of renting versus
Buying.
buying a home.
Yep.
All right, this should be pretty interesting.
Should
What do
be
you think?
fun.
Is it better to rent or buy?
I think it's better to buy, unless you're going to be somewhere short term.
See, and renting may not be horrible.
Well, let's talk about it.
There's
I
some
guess.
pros to that.
How's your week been so far?
Let's start with our little intro. Should we start with our intro?
Sure, you
Or not
want
yet?
to? Go ahead.
I feel like this is the first time we've done this.
I know. Go on.
Forgot where it was.
Oh my gosh.
Renting versus buying. Wait,
Yeah,
that ain't it.
you're killing me here.
I'm sorry.
Oh
All right.
my god.
Good morning, Mom.
Good morning.
All right. So today we're talking about renting versus buying.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
How's your week? All right. So Martha, she's a trooper. So we've only got Wednesdays and Saturdays now where we can do, whatever it is we're doing.
Yes.
And so she had a dentist appointment this morning.
My face is numb.
So she's got a little napkin, so she's wiping her mouth because she's drooling.
No, it's okay.
You okay?
I'm okay. It's just numb. I didn't have a stroke.
So she's okay.
Don't anybody comment, oh.
Poor Martha, she looked weird.
But my tooth is fixed.
Well, good.
So,
would you rather have had your tooth fixed or got a massage?
well, I've been concerned that this tooth is going to break. So I'm glad it's fixed.
Because I got a massage yesterday.
Oh,
And it feels pretty good, actually.
well, that's okay. My tooth is fixed.
Well, good. How's your week been?
So far, so good. Lots of school.
I know you guys are doing really good with that. I'm
Lots of
impressed.
schoolwork.
Everybody seems to be caught up.
They do.
You got a routine.
I think so. I think we have a routine.
Everybody needs a routine.
Yeah.
We actually found a new little dance fine arts studio in Rio
Yeah.
Rancho.
Yeah. So I think we're going to do that.
Just get the kids doing something, and I think maybe we'll even look at I-9. They're doing stuff just to get the kids going with something again.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably what I miss the most is just not having the 10 million things going
We're
on.
always so busy, and now we're not busy at all.
No, it's kind of, I don't like it yet.
People are like, "Oh, can you come here at this time?" I'm like, I got nothing
Yeah,
planned. I'll be there.
Schedule's open.
So yeah, it'll be fun to get them doing something again.
It will be. So we're
And I
looking
think
forward
they're
to that.
excited to have an activity too.
I agree.
So yeah,
Shall we?
we shall.
All right, let's start, Marth.
Yeah,
You own a home.
I do own a home.
So there should be some advantages of it, don't you think?
I think there's lots of advantages.
And you're a real estate agent, so you're biased too.
I am a little bit biased. Good morning, Morley.
Morning.
So yeah, I'm a little biased. There's some advantages. So if you own a home, you have security. A place to call home, a place you feel safe, like a home base.
Agreed.
So,
I like that.
Mhm.
And there's actually been like crazy studies that kids actually do better in school when they own a home, and just
Yes.
because there's a
Stability.
yes,
Mhm.
they're not we got to move in a year again or
Yeah.
some other
Or what's going to happen.
deadline.
Yeah.
There is that.
Mhm.
So it's like it feels different.
Yes.
I would agree.
Yes.
This is a big one, I think.
Yes, you can decorate it.
You can yes.
You
I
can
hated that
paint it.
when we
Tear
were
down a wall.
renting houses. We couldn't paint nothing. We
Yeah.
couldn't decorate.
And you're always concerned about damaging something. So it's better to own a home.
Do you remember
can do
like
what you
that
want.
first little fourplex we rented? Dude, we brought gravel in because there wasn't gravel. We fixed the place up. I mean, it was like nicer when we left.
Yes.
We were those kind of tenants. And they still charged us.
It was some barbecue grill that we never used. Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
stupid charge.
Yeah.
I think that was the last house we rented in Farmington, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Then we bought after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's rough.
pissed me off.
Okay.
Potential tax benefits.
What do you mean by potential?
Well, not as much now because that standard deduction is so high.
yeah, it's hard to reach that threshold.
But your interest, if you itemize, is tax deductible. So there
Yes.
is that piece of it.
owning, equity loan, yes. So if you're short on cash and you have equity in your house and something comes up, you can pull on that equity from your house and help pay for things, which is nice.
Yeah, or well, we kind of use ours for investments and other little things as well. So you could use that money in your house to try to create more wealth. So there's
Yes.
opportunity.
There's opportunity.
You don't have
for
that when you're
everybody.
renting. You know, you
No.
try to go get an equity loan on a rental house.
They don't like that.
No.
And it's hard, I think, to get a signature loan nowadays.
Is
they
it
just give you money.
is it fraud if you do that? Fraud?
Pull out a loan on your rents, your landlord's house, probably.
Yeah, that's probably not good.
Yeah.
Long term.
Long-term investment could be great.
So the advice I give people, if they're going to be in a house short term,
What
it's
do you
not
consider
good.
short term?
I think you need 3 years.
Okay.
You need 3 years of 3 to 4% appreciation to break even, because what they don't tell you when you buy a house, you know, it's expensive to sell. So it's honestly going to cost about 9% to sell your house. So that's why you need at least 3 years to at least break even. You pay down your equity. But if somebody's going to be in town for a year, 2 years,
probably rent.
I'd say rent.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
I would agree with you.
Even some the first time, maybe rent something for a little bit.
Well, we rented the first year that we lived here because we weren't sure what neighborhood we wanted to be in. We didn't know a lot about it.
And we actually ended up, you know, pretty good distance from where we were renting.
Yes.
Same
but
city.
It was good that we did that because we might have been unhappy.
I agree.
We just jumped in and bought the house we were looking at buying. We definitely wouldn't have been happy there.
Agreed. So it worked out better. Yeah, we're looking at a house by a dump.
We don't live by the dump.
Don't say that. We sell houses by the dump. All right.
Oh, yes. This is one I think is good.
Yes.
It's like a legacy for your family. If you buy a house and say you just live in it your entire life, 30 years, you pay it off, you can pass that on to your family.
Yeah, and there's actually pretty good tax benefits on that. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't think
the death tax doesn't apply for most people anymore.
Right.
So
that's a nice
investment.
All right. So then, even on the other investment piece of it, you can sell your personal residence if you're married and make up to $500,000 of profit.
Yes.
Without any taxes.
Right.
So we had a neighbor, and he would do that. He'd live in a house, he'd fix it up and sell it, every 2-3 years, he said? And he'd make money on it every single time.
And you can do that because you have to live in it for 2 years, right?
2 years.
So
2 out of the last 5 years.
Right. And you can do that and make a little money. So, yeah, it can be an asset.
Yes.
But so are there downsides to owning a home?
No, none.
You don't think so?
Well, we got a list that says there are.
There's some.
So if you're looking at the initial outlay.
Yes.
You know, you go to rent a house, you need what, first month, maybe last month?
Maybe if you have good credit, a deposit only.
Right. Yeah. If you're going to buy a house, you need a down payment. You got closing costs.
Yes.
You might have repair expenses that you have. So the initial outlay is more expensive. Because the
cost of a loan is probably more than the first month.
It is. It is. So I'd say it's more expensive.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
And initially.
Long term, I think it's more expensive to own a home than to rent.
Okay.
All right. Can you read that? Or you want me to read it?
Go ahead.
Easy to let emotions sway you to spend more on a home and become house poor.
Yes. So I see this a lot. I actually see this. So if someone's looking at a house, they have their budget, and they're not seeing what they love because maybe their budget doesn't afford them the luxury of the fancier high-end items, so they might have to do a little work on the house. And they're like, oh, well, bump my budget up. And then all of a sudden they're at the very top of what they can afford.
Yes.
And their payment's going to be higher than what they wanted. And it's just the emotion of that instead of, well, I can buy this house and I can make some little adjustments and fix it up and it'll be okay.
Yeah, because it's like $50 at it. Well, we can go up another $50 bucks. We can go up another $100.
$50.
Oh yeah. You start at $1,500, now you're at $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yes, we do see that, especially now because it's so competitive.
Yeah.
And people are having to offer $10,000, $15,000 over list price just to even be considered.
So yeah, there's a lot of people gonna maybe end up with the emotions leading the way.
Agreed. Interest on mortgage is high.
But the interest rate's low.
The interest rate is very low right now. But the way, without getting too nerdy and pulling out my spreadsheet and slide ruler, the way amortization works, and you know this, is you end up paying a higher percentage of interest on your payment at the beginning. For example, say you've got a $900 payment, right? The first year you might be paying $50 of your principal,
Yes.
850 of it interest.
Right.
So even though it's a 3% interest rate, you're paying a large percentage of interest at the beginning of a loan.
Yes.
Whereas rent is considered 100% interest, really.
Really.
Right.
But the truth in that, when you go to closing and you get that mortgage paperwork and they show you at the end of the amortization what you've actually paid for the house, and it's like double or triple what the cost of the house is after 30 years.
Yes.
It's a little shocking.
So you know how everybody tells you make a couple extra payments a year?
Do it.
Yeah, it really does help out.
Do it.
It's not a trick. Oh, so another con. Maintenance and improvements are expensive.
Yes, if your hot water heater breaks, it's expensive.
So you remember
if your
our
dishwasher breaks, it's expensive.
Does anybody else go through dishwashers all the time?
God.
That and washing machines. I don't think it. Do you think it's because we got so many people?
I do.
But
It's
man,
use.
I even we bought a good KitchenAid. I figured that'd last forever.
No.
What did we get out of it? 4 years? 3 years?
5?
I guess that ain't too bad.
I don't know. I feel like it should last longer, but
I think so. Pros of renting.
Oh, there are pros for renting? We
Absolutely.
kinda talked about some of them.
More flexibility. So right now we've got a client who's selling his house, a nice house, because the market's up. And him and his fiance are going to move into a rental because he's not 100% sure what they're going to do.
Okay.
So they wanted to take advantage of the market right now, go in a rental and see, because they may transfer somewhere else. They don't know.
They may move to another neighborhood.
And he knows that without selling the house, he doesn't have any flexibility.
Right.
He doesn't have any options.
Yeah.
Because even, if you break your lease and you pay a little bit, that's a lot easier than trying to sell your house.
And I think the rental market's so hot right now. I have a client that, if he's just going to have to pay the rent until they find a new renter, which the way things are going, it could be a minute.
Oh, yeah. So you've got a client who did the same thing.
They're renting till they find what they want.
Yes.
But it's very flexible for them. They can do that. So that's awesome.
You're not liable for expenses. See, if we're in a rental right now, they'd replace that dishwasher. But we'd still have the same crappy carpet, ugly paint, and ugly backyard as if, we didn't have it. So
right.
There are the pros. It's not as hard to get a rental as it is to buy a home.
That is true.
And I think they're getting a little pickier right now on stuff, on the loans. But yeah, it's easier to rent.
Yeah, they don't look at your 2 years tax returns.
No.
To rent a house.
Or,
they don't look at that. So
they
that's
had one look at the past 4 years of tax returns on a loan.
Cow.
And they want to know everything. They want to know every dollar you spent.
It's a lot less invasive to rent.
Yeah, it is. It is a little invasive to buy.
It's invasive. It is. Oh, you can live in a better area.
I like that.
Yes, you could.
So honestly, when we first moved here, we rented it was a pretty nice house.
Nice house in a nice
area.
And
what we were paying in rent was a lot less than it would have cost us to buy.
To buy that house, for sure.
It was a gorgeous house.
Yeah.
It really was. So there is that advantage. You can live in a better area.
Yes.
Especially if you got a school district you want to be in, but you can't necessarily afford it. Maybe renting is the way to go.
Yes. It's also a good way to experiment with that area.
It is.
Because if you think that's the greatest area and then you're there and you're like, oh, this isn't so good.
You know what else I think the pro of renting is?
What?
Also, so if you're looking at just like creating wealth, right? A house takes time.
Okay.
Because you've got maintenance. You've got other stuff you're doing. It takes resources. And it costs more. So if somebody's focusing on their business, right?
Yeah.
They're focusing on creating wealth. I think maybe renting might be better. Maybe. You know what I mean? Because you're not tying up your cash. You're not putting other things in it.
True.
Because even just like maintenance, how much do we spend on maintenance and just other stuff?
Yeah.
Where if we're just focused on growing a business or doing something else, we wouldn't worry about it.
Right.
We wouldn't worry about finishing the backsplash. All right.
That's
so instead of doing the time of that, all right, let's get this business going or doing whatever else.
Okay.
So I'd say if that's the point in your life, I think maybe renting for a while is not a bad idea because it gives you more time.
Yeah.
And it gives you more resources.
That's true.
I didn't put that on there, but that was my little take on it. The little Grant Cardone take. Oh. Ew. All right.
Take.
Cons of renting, Martha.
There are downsides to renting. There's a lot of them.
We talked about that one.
You cannot change it.
All right.
You don't have control over rent increases.
Do you remember me telling you I had a lady on Social Security, fixed income. She was like 65, 70, and she bought a house. I couldn't fathom why she'd even bother buying a
Right.
house. She's never going to pay it off.
Right.
You know what she told me?
What?
My Social Security money is fixed.
Yes.
I need my payment to be fixed as well.
Yes.
I was like, oh, morning, Kimberly.
Yeah.
I thought that's brilliant. That makes sense.
Well, and your mortgage over the course of 30 years, your payments should go down.
Why?
Because you're paying more often than taxes and whatnot.
Well,
your payment could go down.
It's not going to go up.
It's not going to go up.
It may not go. It ain't going to go down, but it ain't going to go up either.
You never know.
Well, I do know. It ain't going to go down.
But you'll pay it off at some point too.
Yes.
So you rent for 15 years. You could get a 15-year mortgage and have your house paid off in 15 years.
Renting, Martha, makes someone else rich.
It really does.
So that's why we
I'll be
encourage
your
people.
landlord. I'll get rich.
We'll encourage people to get rental properties.
Yes. Yes.
For that, and be on the other side of it.
Yes.
You agree?
Absolutely. We'll sell you a rental property. You can make the money.
All right. In summary, Martha, is renting or buying better?
Situation.
I agree. It's not all better.
It's not necessarily better. You might, like we said at the beginning, if you're only going to be there 2 years, maybe rent.
That's crazy talk coming from a real estate agent.
It is, but it's honest.
It is honest. It's like going to the barber, ask them if they need a haircut. No, your hair looks great.
Yes.
Come back in a couple weeks.
No, they're never going to say that.
No.
Take a little off the top.
But yeah, I don't think renting is as bad as we make it out sometimes.
It's a good
It's got its
temporary
place.
short term.
Absolutely.
And it's great if you have expendable income to buy a rental and be a landlord.
Absolutely.
Let someone else make your house payment.
Absolutely. Now it becomes an asset instead of a liability.
It does become an asset.
All right, guys. Hey, Mom, I'd rather own as well. But do you remember we've had to rent a couple times?
Mm-hmm.
Well, once we were in a little townhome growing up while my parents were building their house on Northridge.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of fun.
Why?
I don't know. I was a kid because it had stairs and stuff, and it was just I don't know. It was interesting to me.
Interesting. My mom had never rented.
No, you guys have never. Thank you. We will be again on Saturday, right?
Saturday.
What are we talking about Saturday?
I have no idea.
And hopefully your mouth you're getting a little.
Be fine by
you're a little
lunchtime.
droopy there, baby. You look good.
I know.
You look good. Talk to you guys later.
Fixed, though.
Bye.
Bye.